Are you wondering how to enter in your credit card transactions inside QuickBooks? You are in the right place. If we've never met before, hi, I'm Candus Kampfer, and I love to help business owners and bookkeepers create confidence with QuickBooks. So guess what you're gonna need to grab? Your credit card statement, because the easiest way to enter in your credit cards is to grab a statement. This is one I've pre-created so I could show you how to enter in your transactions, apply your payments, and do credits all together. Now, something I want to share with you real quickly is this is going to be for the desktop version. If you're looking for the online version, go up above or down below. We are going to cover QuickBooks Desktop. If that's what you're looking for, let's dive in. So I'm going to open up my QuickBooks. The first thing you're going to want to do is set up your credit card. So this is if you've never entered your credit card before. What do you do first? You set it up. So you're going to go under List, Chart of Accounts, and we're going to scroll down to the very bottom and click New, because we're going to set a credit card up. Then you're going to choose credit card right here and click continue. One of the tips I typically give is right here, you're going to want to make sure you add your credit card title, like the bank that you got it from, and the last four of your card number. Why? Because it's much easier to actually look at your card later. So let's say that this was Capital One, and we're going to add a few numbers at the end. This should be, and usually it's 4, so I can make it like this. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they are whatever your number is. Now, if you want to create sub-accounts, this is typically corporate credit cards. I will link a video here on how to set up corporate credit cards. That is, if you have one main card and then other cards that go with it. Okay, those are corporate credit cards, business credit card. If that's the type of credit card that you're setting up, there's some information you want to know on how to set that up properly. Check out my corporate credit card training. I'll link it above and down below. Okay, now description, you can choose to add a description here if you want to. I don't typically enter the account number here, I just ignore that. If you do want to set up bank feed so it downloads automatically, you can do that, but that's not what we're setting up in this video right now. This is going to be if you need to prepare for your tax mapping. Typically, I recommend having a tax professional do your taxes, so that doesn't matter. Enter your opening balance. You can choose to enter that here if you want. Let me talk you through how this is going to happen. I'll show you how you can do it here, and then I'll also show you, if you've skipped this section, how you can actually do it straight in the register on the credit card itself. So this is going to be your statement ending balance. So when you look at your credit card statement, I'm going to pop one on the screen so you can see it. You want to do your previous balance here. So one of the things to consider, let's dive into this real quick, is how do we decide where to start the credit card? You're going to ask yourself a great question, which is, what do I need for my taxes and what do I need for my data point? Okay, so if you're deciding that you want to go back and do all of last year for tax purposes, then you're going to probably want to start in January, unless you're not a calendar and you're in a fiscal year. Okay, then what you're going to say is most credit card statements go between mid-month to mid-month. Okay, so if it starts mid-December and goes through January and you need all of January, you're going to want to pick the December statement. Okay, hope that makes sense. If you say, I just want to start for this year, or I just want to start right now, or I just got a brand new credit card and I'm entering it for the first time, you're going to start with that date. Okay, so it all depends on what you need in your QuickBooks. Hope that makes sense. Let me know in the chat. Okay, so you're going to grab your statement and you're going to say, what was the ending balance on the statement? Which, for the one you choose to enter, if you're just choosing December to January, it's going to be, what is the beginning balance as of December, whatever date that is. Okay, so that would be what's called your previous balance, usually on a credit card statement. A credit card statement has slightly different words on it than a bank statement. Okay, then you're going to choose the date. Okay, so statement ending date. This could also be your beginning date. Okay, so it's the beginning balance, beginning date. Doesn't really matter, but that's what you're looking for. So the one I'm going to enter from, you'll notice on the statement, says it starts on January 15th of 2025. So I'm going to use that, or what you could do is one day sooner, the 14th, just to make it easy. Okay, so I'm going to use the statement from January 15th through February in my example. You might be using December, you might be using May, you might be using July. It's whatever you need based off of what I just shared with you. Okay, you're going to click OK, and that's how you're going to set it up. I'm not going to do mine right now because I want to share with you, if you've already set up your credit card but you need to adjust a beginning balance or add it, how to do that in a different screen. So for now, I'm going to click cancel. You can do that if you want as well. Then I'm going to click save and close. I'm not going to set up any other credit cards. Otherwise, I would choose save and new. Okay, so save and close. If you want to set up bank feeds, you can walk through the process of entering in your bank login information here. For now, I'm going to click no on that. If that's a training you'd like more on, let me know below in the comments. So now we have set up our credit card. It's right here. Remember, I found this from List, Chart of Accounts, and you'll notice that there's a credit card section and the credit card is right there. So you can double click and there are no transactions. It is best if you're starting from scratch to enter your beginning balance right now is a good idea. So I'm going to show you how to do it. January 14th, I'm going to skip the reference, I'm going to skip the payee, and I'm going to go over to charge amount. And I'm going to enter my opening balance or my previous balance as you see it on your statement. It can be any dollar amount. It's basically what did you owe on the last statement. As of the last statement, that's the dollar amount that you're putting in. Now, QuickBooks has an account called Opening Balance Equity. I'm going to choose that to start my beginning balance. Why? Because I don't necessarily know all the different expenses that make up that $1,000. Now, you might be saying, if you're in December or previous year, I don't want to use that date because I don't want to see it. Just know that your profit and loss is always going to pull your expenses or your data points based off the date range that you pick, the time frame. So if you only want it to show from January through December and you're hesitant to put in December of the prior year, don't worry about it, because in the end, it's not going to show on your profit and loss this year anyways. And it's much easier than trying to do the math, okay? Then here you can say opening balance, starting to track credit card. You can type whatever you want in QuickBooks, okay? Type whatever you want in there. And then you're going to click record. So what that did is it just added a transaction. Now you can choose to add all of your credit card transactions in here if you want to, or I'm going to show you another strategy that you can use as well. Are you ready? So you can go, let me close this. You're now looking at what we call the home screen. You can actually go here to banking, enter credit card charges, or this is the banking center area down here. You can use enter credit card charges here as well. So you get to pick and choose which one you want to enter. Okay, so you can do there's 3 strategies right there that I gave you. Now you'll notice none of the strategies I included are journal entries because I don't recommend them. You're going to choose here. This is where which credit card you want. Okay, so if you have more than one credit card, make sure you choose the credit card that you want. This is when you're adding purchases. This is when you're adding refunds. And you'll notice that it kind of gives you a current balance moving forward. This is a drop down here, and this is where you're choosing your vendor. So as you notice on my statement, we had Exxon, went and got fuel in this file. For this example, you can click on the calendar and choose the date of your charges, or if you can hit the plus to go up one day. The reference is going to be, do you have a reference number? The amount is going to be how much the transaction was for. If you need a memo, you can add it. Now this is key. Understanding what do you pick here? You're going to choose under expenses where you want to see this particular charge on your profit and loss. If you want to see fuel under fuel, you could put it there. Now you'll notice there was another fuel when I typed it in, and this is other income. This is like reimbursable. We're not doing that right now. We're just saying we had a business expense. So you want to put it under expense. You can put multiple lines here. You could put a memo. You can put in job costing. You can make it billable so it bills to the customer, and you can learn how to track classes. Or if you're interested in learning more about the details and everything that it can do, I'd highly recommend checking out Confidence with QuickBooks. It is my training program that teaches you from A to Z how to enter in all of your transactions. Okay, covers this and so much more. Items over here is going to be if you are using typically inventory or charges and you've set up your item initially here to do both income and expense. Okay, if that's something you need to learn, as I said, check out Confidence QuickBooks. Okay, so we're moving on. We've entered this transaction and you can click Save and New. We're going to save it without a class. Class is a category. We're not going to worry about that in today's training. You will notice that there are things up here at the top like New, Save, Delete, or Void. Create a copy, memorize it. That's you're going to memorize a transaction. You want to attach a file. You want to be able to download it, clear your splits, recalculate, or batch transactions. Okay, so there's all different features that it offers. Those are some of them. You can always click the back arrow and it'll go back to your previous transaction, or forward to go back and forth. And you can always find through the search feature as well. Okay, so let's go in and enter another charge from our statement. The best way to learn is to do. So the next one's going to be Office Depot. We're going to say that that was on January 25th. We're not going to worry about a reference number, but we're going to enter a dollar amount. You may notice that I'm entering this one a little bit faster, and that's because I'm using tabs. So you can tab between each one, and that helps speed up the process. So a dollar amount, if I needed to add a memo or customer, I would do that. I'm going to hit save and close, continue, and I'm just going to keep entering. And you can pause this video and you can go through and enter in all of your expenses. I'm going to go ahead and enter it to Carl's. Now, if I didn't have Carl in here, let's say I was just going to add Carl, and I don't want the rest of that, just in this example. So you can see, you can tab over or hit new and do a quick add, and you're going to make sure that anywhere you spend money is a vendor, okay? In this example, I'm going to hit cancel, and I'm going to use the one I already have. It's ideal if you already have a vendor to use that. Otherwise, you're going to need to merge them, which I have a tutorial for you if you need to learn how to do that as well. All right, so then we're going to go in and we are going to add the next transaction that you see here on my statement. So this one is going to go to job supplies. Depends on what you need. You just keep adding them. Go through, keep adding all your transactions. And when you're ready to add your credits, come back, pause this video, come back, because I'm going to keep entering these, and then I'm going to do the next set. How's your QuickBooks going so far? Feeling a little bit more confident? Let me know. All right, so we go in, we add all of our transactions, memo if we need it. Now we are adding insurance, so we're going to choose insurance. Now here's a good tip for you. You want to make sure that anytime you pick a sub account, if you have sub accounts, that you go back and pick them. Meaning if you have a main category called insurance, that's not the category you want to pick. So you're going to need to choose with Sinclair, is it auto insurance, liability, or add another sub account if neither of these apply. We'll go ahead and do it to liability and click save and close. So that has entered in all of those transactions. Actually, I'm going to do save and new. I'll tell you why. I'm going to enter in now all of my credits. So you want to go to that section of your statement and look at your credits. So we have one. So this is how you decide purchase, credit. Okay. So the next one we are going to do is that we had a credit card credit for a reward. We're going to say this is a reward just to give you an example of what to do. So we're going to say a vendor is a credit card. Now, if you have more than one credit card, you're going to want to set up each of your credit cards as a vendor with the card number. So add new, make it a vendor, and have it have the credit card in there. Okay. So you'll notice that's the last four of that card number. Then I'm going to come in here and I have to change my date back a few days. Every statement is a little different, so yours might be mixed together or it may not. Add a memo if you need it. Now, what are we going to choose under expense if we had a credit card reward? You're going to set up a account called other income credit card rewards. This is if you basically get a discount on your statement for the reward. And you could put here December rewards or something like that, because maybe that's what it was for. You can add memos, all of that. And then we're going to click save and new. We're going to go ahead and enter in one more reward. And this is going to be a return that we did to Home Depot that went back against our credit card for $450. You'll see that on the statement. You need to pick where. The way you do a refund is wherever you originally put the purchase, that's where you're going to put it back against, because it will reduce the expense. Okay. Add a memo for what you returned, all of that. Now I'm going to hit save and close because I've entered every transaction on my statement except what? My payment. Yes. So how do we enter a payment? It's done a little differently. So let me walk you through how that works. Okay. I want to show you. I went to list chart of accounts. And I'm going to go look at my credit card to see all my transactions. So I have my beginning balance. I have all of my different charges and my payments except for my credit card. If I wanted to, I could have entered any of them here. Like let's say the Office Depot. I could have put the Office Depot date, the dollar amount, and the expense all in this one. If I want, you can also always do one line if you prefer to enter it this way, or you click on splits and it gives you more detail. You get to choose if that's the way you want to enter it. I just want to show you that as an option. Okay, I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to click delete just because I don't actually need that one, showing it to you as an example. All right, so now let's go in and we're going to pay our credit card. It is common to think that when you pay your credit card, and you'll notice in a moment when I go to Reconcile, it will ask you, do you want to enter a bill? If you've been doing this, stop doing it, because when you enter a credit card bill, if you don't pay it off every month, the full amount, what happens is it moves it, the balance, over to accounts payable instead of keeping it in your credit card. So yes, you can do that, but you want to make sure if you're doing the enter bill that you're always making it for the same amount that you actually pay, or you're going back and changing it. Okay, it's not something I recommend, so I'm not really going to give a video. If you need a video on that, let me know below. I'll add it for you, but just know that it comes with a word of caution that using enter bills typically causes a problem. So the better way to do it is actually to go into either your check register or write checks. Write a check from your bank account, right? So that's what we're choosing here. You might be paying it online or writing a check number, so you can choose what you want to do with that. Then you're going to enter in the statement date. So you'll notice January 31st, we wrote a payment to the credit card for $100. So we're going to come in here and add what? Capital One as the vendor, because that's who we're paying. We're going to add $100 is the amount. And then what is the account we choose here? This is where the magic happens. What some people do is they say, oh, well, let me figure out where the $100 was spent. Where was the $100 spent? Well, that's really hard to figure out when you had $1,000 balance and then you paid $100, you have credits and all that. So what we want to do here instead is choose the credit card itself. So you're going to scroll up, because what you've done is, remember, we added all the different charges. That's increasing our balance. And now when we make a payment, we're just reducing the credit card balance, okay? Then you're going to click Save and Close, save it. Now when we go in and we look at our chart of accounts, you always want to be going back and looking at, like, what did I actually enter in here? This is such a key to really learning, is seeing what you did and then also looking at it on your reports. Okay, so the two reports that it impacts is going to be the profit and loss for your expenses and your balance sheet for the amount that you owe on the credit card itself, right? Now, the next step after you've entered in all of your charges, all of your credit cards, is to reconcile. Now, I want to say one thing. When you're looking at your credit card and you've made a payment, so let's go into the register and look at that payment we just made. It's right here. Now, the blue line just means that it's in the future. If you didn't know, it's a little tip for you. When we look at this, you'll notice I'm doing one transaction that's taking care of the bank account and the check at the same time. If you're ever curious and you're looking at your transactions and you want to know what's the debits and credits, you can do Control Y and it will bring up your debits and credits. So it's taking care of both transactions in that moment. You can look at this for any of the transactions that you're entering into QuickBooks if you want to see what's happening behind the scenes, okay? Just another little tip for you. Love to give you all these tips. Okay, next, we want to reconcile. So you're going to go over here, you're going to click Reconcile. You're going to choose your credit card. Now, if you've never reconciled before, you're going to notice that there's a beginning balance of 0, even though you've entered that you had $1,000. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That's like a common question that I get asked. So you want to come in here and you're going to choose your statement date. Where do you pick the statement date? As you see on this statement, it's going to be February 15th. It's the last day of the statement. Ignore the 0. You can't change it anyways. Only worry about the ending balance. Now, what gets confusing sometimes on a credit card is it says ending balance, which is what bank accounts say. But with a credit card, you actually see typically new balance. So look for what's called the new balance. Every credit card's a little different, so you might have to search around for it a little bit. And you're going to enter in your new balance. Now you also have your minimum payment. They probably are not the same amount. You want the full amount of what you owe. If you have finance charge, you're going to add that here. In this example, I don't, but if I did, let's just say it was $10, I would add that. Usually, unless it tells you the exact date of the finance charge, you're going to put the last day of the statement. Then you're going to choose your account. You can choose to do interest expense. You can do finance charge, credit card interest. Like, it's up to you this is how it's going to show up on what your profit and loss. I actually don't love putting it here, and I'll tell you why. It's because there's no vendor. So instead, I like to actually enter it as a credit card charge to the card and then against the expense. That way, if you want to see more detailed reports later, you have it. How you feeling? Getting excited about understanding credit card better? Just take it one step at a time. Okay, we're going to click continue. And now we're going to reconcile. So what is a reconciliation? It is comparing the statement that you got in the mail to your QuickBooks. I recommend printing it out. You're going to go in, grab a pen, you're going to check off each of these amounts as you go through. So you're going to look and you're going to go, okay, I see $1,000. That was my beginning balance. Check. Okay, I had $55.48, $61.33. You just go through and you check every one of them. Okay. Now remember, if you're first time entering it, you might need to take off the beginning balance to match your total down here against what it says on your actual statement. So make sure that you do that. You go through and you look up the actual amount. I'll tell you why, because later when we get over here to comparing the total amount, I'll remind you again to be looking at that. Okay. So we'll go ahead and check that off. Then you're going to come over here and these are all of the payments that have been applied, whether it's a reward, a return, or a payment. I try to give you every option that might come up. You'll see that matches the top of your statement down here as a total. If at any time one of these amounts is not accurate, what you can do, if you had a typo or something in it, you can double click, it will open it up and you can make a change until it matches your statement. Down here at the bottom, you will see if you added a finance charge on that first screen, it will show. If you've noticed that you're off by your finance charge, you added it here and you added on your finance charge, you can click modify and go back and make a pivot right there and clean it up. Okay. Next, you're going to check to see what is your ending balance. Is it the same as your statement? And the cleared balance is what QuickBooks says cleared. Okay. Those should be the same. If the difference is not 0, you've done something wrong. Go back and look at your beginning balance. After you've done your first statement, it will work. Look at your total payments and charges. One of these mathematically has to be wrong for it to not work. So often people say to me, I've checked everything, it still doesn't work. Trust me, it's mathematical. Go back, you've just missed a penny, okay? Couple other tips. Right up here on the right, you'll see this little button. It says hide transactions after statement date. So here on the left, the period of time that you picked when you said was your ending of your statement, when you check mark this, it won't show anything beyond those dates. So if you're going back and reconciling older credit card accounts, I highly recommend that because it'll get rid of anything. Now, if you know you entered a transaction, you don't see it, first you want to go into your vendor and look for it, okay? If you find that it is there, take this off and you might see that you accidentally had a date beyond the statement date. So you'll need to adjust that so that it's an accurate period of time so your reports are accurate. Remember, do not complete it unless it says the difference is 0. The next step would be to click Reconcile Now. If you, let me shrink this just a little bit so you can see a little more. I just realized it wasn't showing all of my things. So here's the dollar amounts now, you'll see it. And then you'll see there's a little leave button down here on the bottom right. If you aren't done with your reconciliation yet and you want to be able to leave and you need to come back because there's a problem with it, instead of reconciling and having a discrepancy, let me show you what that looks like. So let's say I didn't check that off. I think I've got everything I don't understand. And I click Reconcile Now. It's going to pop up a discrepancy. Do not click Enter Adjustment. Something is wrong. Go back and fix it. This is my big tip for you. So go fix it, then you have it. If you do need to leave, you can always click Leave, go back into your reconciliation when it's time, verify everything is still accurate, click Continue, and when you're ready to finalize it, we'll move this a little bigger so you can see the dollar amounts. And that's something for you to know. These are adjustable. Did you know that? Sometimes I do little things and I forget to tell you what I'm doing, so just make sure you know. You click Reconcile Now, and this next screen is one of the big things that we already talked about, but I just want to explain it to you. I recommend applying your payments as you actually pay them, or when you get the statement for your bank account or credit card. Remember, you only need to enter it once. This screen, a lot of people don't realize you can just hit cancel or X, but let me explain to you what it is. The first option is, hey, this is what your balance is. Do you just want to make the payment right now? Most people don't pay it in the moment they reconcile. They've either already paid it or are going to pay it in the future. So typically you're not going to do it in this moment. Or it says enter a bill. And most people don't know what the difference is. So this creates enter bills. Remember I said if you're not paying the full $786.59 off, you're going to have issues in the future and you may not need to write a check. So the best thing to do is just to hit cancel. It'll bring up your reports. You can do a summary, a detail, both. I will go ahead and click display so you can see it. This is the summary. You can print it, save it as a PDF, email it if you need to. And this is the detail behind every transaction that you cleaned up. Same thing. You can print it, save it as a PDF or email it. I'm going to go ahead and click X. If you ever need to find it in the future, let me give you that real quick. Reports, banking, previous reconciliation, boom, you're gonna go in and find it and it'll be sitting right there. Oh, that's for the credit card. Let me find it right here. There's the one that we just did, and you can choose how you want to look at it. So if you accidentally close out, doesn't mean it's gone forever. So remember, a couple things. Have fun entering your QuickBooks. Grab your statement. Let's get your credit card entered. It can actually be this simple. You just go through it step by step. If you need additional support or have questions, pop them down below so that I can see them. If you're new here, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any of my tips and tricks in the future. And if you think, oh my gosh, I want to make sure I get these in my inbox so I don't miss them as well, you can go up above or down below and subscribe to our weekly tips and we'll email them to you so you don't miss anything. As well as if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I really want to learn more about how to customize my QuickBooks and enter in your transactions, go to my Customizing QuickBooks workshop by going to CandusCampfer.com/workshop. I'll put the link up above and down below as well. And I look forward to seeing you inside my future tips and tricks. Let me know, what was your biggest aha? What were you maybe doing wrong that you learned how to do right that you are going to use moving forward? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day. Bye.